Alrighty, here we go. 800 grit sandpaper on a 6-inch DA sander. Gonna go over the entire headlight until it is all even and level. And you know when it's time to change the pad when there is no more dust flying off of the sandpaper. I believe I used 3 sheets of 800 on each headlight before moving on to the 1500 grit. So we're gonna sand the entire thing until it is all even. And here's what the surface looks like after 800 grit. Now we're going to jump to the second part, which is 1500 grit. And I think I used 2 sheets of 1500 for this second part. You'll have to count the sheets as I pull them out of the box. Cannot remember to save my life. But same thing, we're going to go over the entire headlight until it is all even with that 1500 grit, so you don't see any remaining 800, and you can kind of see the difference as well. It's starting to lighten up a lot from the 800 grit by doing the 1500 grit. So we're going to go over the entire thing and make it slightly more visible, and you'll definitely be able to see the spots you miss because it'll obviously be a lot darker than where you've hit. So we'll sand it all down and then we'll go on to 2000 grit. And here's the surface after 1500 grit. And now for the final sanding step, we're going to go in with 2000 grit. And I believe I used 2 sheets of this as well. You'll have to count it as I pull it from the box. I have a really bad memory, I'm so sorry. And the same thing as the 1500. Go over the entire light, make sure it's even, make sure you don't see any of that 1500 grit popping through. And then as soon as we're done doing this step, then we can start buffing it. here's what we have after the 2000 grit. Now it's time to buff. And with buffing, I'm just using a heavy cut, pure cut compound and my Milwaukee wool pad buffer. And I believe I have it set on 3000 RPM. I tend to go a little bit faster with my speed on buffing headlights just because, you know, I don't want to say that you can burn through, but listen, I have never had a problem going a little bit faster with buffing wool on headlights. So quote me if I'm wrong, please do. So we're going to go over it. I do multiple sections and then we'll wipe it all down and we'll take a look at what we got left. And here's what we're looking at for the final result. Nice and clean and clear, and then this is the before.